Nikki Wagner.
Mr. Speaker. The appropriations for Canterbury earthquake recovery is good news for Cantabrians. I think we've always understood that both the Prime Minister and the Government have stood behind Cantabrians, they've supported us, and the rebuild of Christchurch and Canterbury is one of the 4 major focuses for the future for this Government. And these appropriations provide the funding to get on with the job. The rebuild, of course, is the biggest, most complex and most challenging construction project ever proposed in New Zealand. And Vote Canterbury Earthquake Recovery provides the funding to support the Canterbury Earthquake Recovery Authority, that's SERA, in its coordinating role in the earthquake recovery effort. Now, the earthquake recovery will be funded from many ways, from numerous sources. The first, of course, is insurance, investment, both local and international, local government funding, as well as our government appropriations. And we're still in early days for that rebuild, so estimates, planning and budgeting needs to be flexible. There's already been an escalation of costs as more damage has been identified and as final decisions about many buildings are still to be made. Now, the Treasury recently revised its estimates of the overall cost of the post-earthquake rebuilding from $30 billion to $40 billion. And it's believed that the still final cost may be higher than that. But at this stage, it's accepted that about $15.2 billion is the best estimate of the Crown's share of the rebuild, and about half of that, about $7.6 billion, has been set aside to cover the Earthquake Commission's estimated shortfall. Now, the remainder of those funds will be appropriated through several different votes, things like justice, things like health, and like education. And we are already seeing the benefits of expenditure in these areas. The new police and corrections hub is working extremely well, and that's been reflected in the fall of crime pre-earthquake, from the pre-earthquake rate. What they've done here is they've co-located the police and corrections, and that's a new idea, and it's provided new synergies and improved processes, and that is translating in far better results for the justice system. I think one of the things that the earthquake has allowed Canterbury people to do is to think differently. In many cases, we are developing hubs of like-minded organisations, and the way that they interact means that we can deliver a far better service. Already planning for the new hospitals in the Canterbury area and Christchurch area is well underway. We've got Burwood and Christchurch, and again, those changes there have been driven by the damage during the earthquakes and how we've changed our ways of looking after health care. What that's done, it's led to different ways of thinking and different configurations and different methods, but they're all designed to deliver better, sooner and more convenient healthcare. And certainly in terms of keeping people in their own homes and looking after their healthcare there, we are leading the country. The increased expenditure in Christchurch is driving business confidence and economic growth. And I think the people are beginning to recognise the opportunities for the city in the future. Now, the press told us this week that every day 22 new migrants are coming to Christchurch. They're coming to Christchurch for the work, and they're coming to be part of the rebuild. But there's a real understanding here that Christchurch will be growing and developing for at least the next decade, and that it will be a very positive place for people to live and work. There are probably very few cities in the world where that growth rate can be expected for that length of time. And people are coming from all across New Zealand, and skilled workers are coming from international jobs to us. I just would like to thank Jerry Brownlee and the SERA team for the work that they're doing in Christchurch and Canterbury. There's no doubt that it's been an extremely tough time there, and there's still an enormous amount of challenges going forward. But with nearly 40,000 residential houses been repaired, and with new houses being rebuilt and families moving into them every day, we're seeing a real development there.
Right.
Thank you.
Members, the question is that vote Canterbury earthquake recovery stand part of the schedule. Those of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. The question now is that vote transport stand part of the schedule. So I call Julianne Genter.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The National Government is